it goes to hell. Anyway, let's just skip straight into the intro. What's up, everyone? My name is Chris. I am from a YouTube channel called Vo-Gus Prospecting. We do all sorts of things regarding finding shiny rocks, basically. And today we've got something special. Something I actually feel really guilty about. so we're going to cover over the guilt. We're going to find some gold. I'm going to point at everyone with a toothbrush. And hopefully we're going to have a whole bunch of fun. We'll bring up chat because, as I said right from the beginning, everything went to hell. Live chat. There we go. Matthew Penny's in the house. What's going on? AAA Rockhound. What's up, brother? Trevor. I've got one admin in here. That's good. Finish pumping this job in. Hang on. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna skip over that. Anything that involves pumping. Oh, damn, you're here too. Woo! We've got a full admin team. Almost full. We're missing Mick and Gadsy, but Gadsy's out on the creek. My car is in the mechanics, so I can't go to the creek. And we have a lot of ground to cover, so I guess we should probably jump into it. I will get to chat soon. So, if you are new here, the goal of these live streams is to sort of educate both of us, because it's you and me in your toilet probably at work, hopefully, so you're getting paid for company time. We're both going to learn together. We're going to do something different. We try to educate each other as we go. I learn a lot from chat. Hopefully chat learns a lot from what I'm doing here. And we're focused around gold prospecting, gemstone hunting, crystal hunting, all of that sort of stuff. And given that it is a live stream, a whole heap of things could go wrong. We've got terrible Australian internet. That's one thing that can go wrong. I have 3 dogs in the house at the moment because we're looking after a dog and it likes to bark. So that could go wrong. We've got people going in and out of the house. Things could just go wrong. So if that happens, right? So bear with me. It's a live stream. So what do I feel guilty about? I feel guilty about this. This packet right here. Now, this is an amazing packet to have received. And just a stunning packet to have received. This is Washington Beach Mining pay dirt. I received this about 6 years ago. It's a real long time ago that they sent this to me. Now, Washington Beach Mining, so far as I can see from their Facebook pages, their website, and their YouTube channel, they're not in operation anymore, which is a real shame because I've got some of their products here. And they work really well. I use their sluice mats in my high bankers and my river sluices. I use their speed controller when I'm doing most of my live streams here. I'll be using a Washington Beach Mining speed controller. And one of the other things that they sold was this pay dirt. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're in business anymore. But nonetheless, we're going to do this. Now, this is an extremely rare thing to have in Australia because Australian customs, generally speaking, will confiscate pay dirt at the border. You cannot get pay dirt into Australia easily. Very rarely something will slip through. Very rarely. But most of the time, if it's got soil or dirt in it, it doesn't. So this is, well, I guess this is illegal, but customs let it through, right? So that's on them at this point, and it happened 6 years ago. We're going to pan this off today. This is from Washington State over in the US of A. And they if you watch their YouTube channel, they're mostly prospecting on a really, really large beach. They're going along just like you would in Nome, Alaska, and looking for the black sands and whatnot, and high banking and sluicing them and recovering this super fine gold. And I want to know, is this as hard as Reedy Creek to pan down, right? Like I reckon we can hopefully test that assumption because Reedy Creek tin is super difficult to pan. It's really hard to pan, right? And if I can find something that's even half as challenging as Reedy Creek tin, then I'm going to be seriously impressed. Mick, I just saw a big blue thing come on the screen. Magnetic, I don't know. We're going to find out, but I'm not going to... I'm personally not going to remove the magnetics if I can avoid it because I want the real experience of panning the dirt, not, like a reduced, easier level. I want to see what it's really like to pan this if I was there. So we're going to do this in a minute. I've got a really basic setup here. I've got a little 10-inch pan. I've got a super cool Kimu classifier. These things are sick. You should definitely buy one. They come with Well, they're not immediately behind me, so I'm not going to pull them up, but they come with different mesh sizes, and you can just pop this in and out and change the mesh size, and they're like $20, so really worth getting that. 10-inch pan, classifier, not sure, doesn't really feel like there's anything that's going to need to be classified out of this. So, yeah. Oh, straws? Yeah, gold was like half of what it is back then. No, man, it was $40 a gram. I looked it up. It was $40 a gram. So it's come a long way. Now it's $150 a gram. There's no minimum guaranteed on this packet either. So I don't know how much gold to expect in this. But yeah. Reedy Creek cons aren't magnetic, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to flip you around too because I want to show you some of the stuff we got yesterday. Always do the double camera. There we go. Look, tourmaline. So we went on a tourmaline hunt. Mick, Gadsy, and I went out yesterday and we were searching for pieces of tourmaline and we found some really cool pieces. So this is almost a piece of what Mick informed me to be peacocked tourmaline. So proper peacocking would have like a true fan. I was researching it last night, but this has got the right kind of patterns in it. It's just not quite. Change the camera angle so the light's a bit better. So that was cool. It was interesting. It's a pretty thick bit, you can see there. But this is all found in a metamorphic schist. It's got a lot of feldspar, a lot of pegmatites and whatnot in it, and it will never form clusters, I've been informed, but it will form really cool crystals. The problem is the metamorphism happened after the tourmaline grew, so you get a lot of broken crystals. This is by far the longest one that I found. I don't know whether to keep this one for my own collection or if I'll put it up in the shop soon, but yeah, we found some really cool big bits. Obviously you can see where some larger crystals were. And that was neat, but these ones are my favorite, right? Look at this. This is actually a terminated tourmaline crystal. It's got a full termination on the end. I haven't seen that very often at all. Like I've got one other one in my collection previous to this hunt where I had terminated crystals, and I got that one and I got this one. So it broke off at this end, but that is also a terminated tourmaline crystal. Nice clean faces on them, really neat. I love that. These are definitely going to reside in my own personal collection because I just think they're cool. Like tourmaline isn't overly rare in any way, shape or form, but I haven't seen the terminated points come out in my area. Well, this makes 3 points that I've seen total, and I've got thousands of points of tourmaline now, and we've got some really cool specimen pieces that these are definitely going to go up in the shop. They're going to be pretty cheap too, so if you are interested in some Australian tourmaline, they will be going up in the shop in the next 24 hours or so. So we've got obviously a tourmaline crystal running through the host quartz that it was in. Unfortunately, the only way to really get some of these out is just to hit them with a big hammer. So, but oh, this one's neat. I really like this. Look at that. That's cool, isn't it? I love that piece. Just that's obviously in the actual host rock. It's not in the quartz, which is something we don't really see all of that often, especially up there. We're getting it more in the quartz than we are in the host rock. So loving that. We got a whole container full here too. So there's going to be a lot of that going up. And just to finish off the long ranting talk, because I've been talking for 8 minutes and not actually doing any gold prospecting like I promised. I am opening a proper bricks and mortar retail shop. That is going to be happening in 4 to 6 weeks. We've signed the lease, but we're waiting for keys and insurance and all of that sort of stuff, and then we're going to do a shop fit out. But we're going to be opening a proper bricks and mortar shop, and that shop is going to be selling equipment. We're not going to be selling detectors. This is the wrong region for detectors, so we're going to be selling pans, sluices, high bankers, rock crushers, all of that. Plus we're going to have all of these specimens and whatnot up in the shop. So we're going to have amethyst, quartz, all sorts of stuff going up into that shop that you're going to be able to come and get. You're going to be able to get my pay dirt. We've got pay dirt from other people as well, and we've got some specialty equipment that you won't be able to get anywhere else. We're also going to be the only prospecting shop in the Beechworth area. And the last bit of self-promotion, to fund this, I kind of need to sell the stock that I've currently got in terms of pay dirt. There's a link down in the description. We've got a brand new merch line called Dirt Empire. It's got, well, I'm going to try and get this on camera. Oh, It's got cool designs. We got a whole heap of different designs up there for the Dirt Empire t-shirt. So if you want to help support the channel, help support the new shop that's going to get fitted out, jump over to the website, theoldmoldy.com.au. Thank you, Debbie. Seeing you put that up. And yeah, just pick something up. It doesn't have to be much. We make about 15% is our profit margins on those, on basically every item. So the except for the shirts, we only make like 5% something on them, but whatever. So if you want to help support that, that's how we're going to do it. We're funding that to just get the shop fitted out and all that sort of stuff by selling our pay dirt. Let's get into this. Let's do it. I want to pan something. Alright. This is an old cleanup pan, so it's got water in it already, but that's alright. We don't mind that. Gonna need a knife, I think. Scissors. Alright, we got scissors. Oh, actually, no, hang on. We should explore this. I haven't even really looked at it. Will it just pop? It's been thermo-sealed though, hasn't it? Yep. Oh, man struggles with packaging. This time, live on Vo-Gus Prospecting. Christopher Houston, we always ship international, man. Nothing's changing on the website at all. We're just going to have a bricks and mortar shop for people to come to when they visit our region, because we've got a lot of people visiting the region. Nothing's changing on the website at all. If anything, the website's going to be getting bigger. Oh my God, this is Washington Beach Mining. Back in the day, you were making some seriously tough packaging. Okay. No guaranteed amount of gold. Not sure what to expect. Hang on. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to smell it. Yep, it smells like dirt. Oh, it must have been wet when they shipped it. It's just black sand. Oh my God. Okay, we're up for a challenge, aren't we? That is just pure black sand. Holy crap. That's not going to be easy, is it? If it's just it's just pure black sand. There's nothing else in that, is there? It's super fine. We're not going to need to classify it. I'm going to wash out the container. And pour it over the top. No, there's still more in that packet. Okay, we're cutting it right open. We're going to go back to the splushing method. That is the problem with wet pay dirt. We always try to make sure our pay dirt is 100% dry, just because it does tend to stick on the inside of containers, and it's a real pain in the ass to get out. So anyone who's ordering pay dirt, make sure you wash your containers out or break them apart properly so that you can get every last skerrick of dirt. Man, I haven't seen a single bit of gold either, so either there's not a lot of gold in here, or there you go, that's that clean, or we definitely didn't need the classifier, but now I've got to wash the classifier. Or, it's really fine. I'm betting it's really fine. Let's set you up at the Hernan tub. This is my tub. He says in a Borat voice, this is my tub. Right. I'll turn this tub around actually, because my legs don't magically go through tables. Very professional live stream. Right, so we're not going to use the riffles. When it comes to using black sand like this, look, I honestly am looking at this thinking to myself, man, I should probably do this like a teaspoon at a time in a different pan, because that's what I would do with Reedy Creek, but I don't know how well it's going to move. It's all a uniform size. That makes me think the gold's going to be the same size as the black sand. and we're going to give it a whirl. But we never use the riffles for this. It provides too much friction and it won't move the dirt off. We use the flat side of the pan every time. Just trying to get this stuff moving. Ooh, shit. It's dense. Oh my God. Yeah, I can see the gold all over the back. Oh, I don't know if you're going to be able to make that out on camera, actually. Give me a minute. This is a new dirt experience. It's real fine gold. Holy crap. There's one creek in this area that has gold similar to that. This is definitely going to be a teaspoon at a time job. Yeah, no, we're not going to waste our time like that. Give me a sec. Alright, we're going to transfer the gold to a different pan. All the cons to a different pan. Because it's the same as Reedy Creek. If you put too much in your pan, you can't effectively wash the dirt down. And so you end up in a situation where you lose gold because you've got too much volume in your pan. So we're just, and it doesn't want to move. It's real sticky because it's all uniform size. When you get when you get dirt that's all uniform size, it wants to bind together like clay, because that's essentially what it's doing. All the particles can fit together real close. All right, we're going to try that much in the pan. All the particles want to fit together real close, they stick together, and then it becomes a real challenge to sort it out. Oh, this is going to be a nightmare. All right. Straight away, I'm going to say this is harder, way harder than Reedy Creek's, purely because of the size of the particles. Let's see if I can get more light in here. Hopefully that's not too bad on the camera. I can't really see what's going on the camera either, guys. I've actually got to concentrate on this, which is a nice change. Ooh, damn. Yeah, this is a legit pay dirt. This is not easy panning. Straight away, you can just tell, like straight away, that gold is ultra fine. And the size of the gold isn't the problem. Gold's so dense, it'll stick. Like it'll go to the bottom. It'll be protected by the black sand from the water that's washing everything off. The problem is actually, like I was saying, the particles are so fine that they can get close together. There's not really much room for them to move around. So the water has a hard time shifting it. I'm having to do such a small amount at a time. Ooh. We'll do this one, and then I'm going to see. Then I'm going to see whether or not this stuff's magnetic. I bet you it is. Damn. Damn. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to pay attention to just this area here, and I'm not taking dirt from the very back of the pile. I don't want the water to touch the back leading edge of the dirt, because if I do that, it'll float it off. It'll be hydrophobic because, oh man, how to explain this simply? When gold's on its own and there's nothing else around it, it actively tries to repel water from its surface, so it becomes hydrophobic. And that means if you get gold like we've got, let's see if we can see it, we've got gold just there. If that gets touched by water, it'll float, and it will float straight out of the pan. So you never want the water, especially in doing cleanups, but even when you're just panning down in the creek, to touch the back leading edge or the corners of where your dirt is in your pan. You want the water to take it off the front. There is so much fine gold in this. This is some brutal panning. I'm not going to ask now. Like I can't see the chat, so don't reply just yet. But when I swing it around and I can actually see it, I want to know how many people in chat actually deal with this every day. I'm pretty sure Jason from Washington, no, what is it? Flower Gold Wizards pans this stuff, all this sort of stuff. I know I'm losing gold too. So I'm just watching that front edge, and I'm looking for gold migration. That's why we're only taking off a really small amount of black sand at a time, because if I start seeing a lot of specks collect up the front here, I know I've got to re-stratify, which is what's happening. The gold's spreading out from underneath it. Actually, let's just see if this is magnetic. All right, we've got a rare earth magnet here. This comes in the Mine Lab panning kits. I'm just going to put it inside a plastic bag so we don't coat it. And let's find out. Ah! 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 Yeah, okay. All right. Now, I said I wasn't going to remove the magnetics, but I have got my panning experience now. Oh, we've got to get more water in the pan. There we go. I've got my panning experience now. That's my excuse. So we are going to use a magnet and we are going to rip a lot of that out, because otherwise I'm going to be here for decades. Right. 2 pans. This is the way you should do it. It's always about reduction. You want on your cleanups to make sure that you're doing this as efficiently as possible. The big thing that I've found is that if you get an opportunity to practice with a soil like this, you should do it, because it'll teach you a lot. And I know that historically on Reedy Creek, this has been really difficult sort of stuff to deal with when it gets really fine. So the fact that a lot of it's magnetic is super helpful. Reedy Creek tin isn't magnetic. When it comes to using a magnet to remove this, there's a technique. Obviously, cover your magnet in a bag or something, because otherwise it's going to get up. All of this black sand will stick to it, and it's a real pain in the ass to get off. So we put it in a plastic bag or something similar. And then when we do this, I have a large amount of water in my pan, and I don't push the magnet into the dirt. I put it on top. That actually gives the gold an opportunity to fall back out if it is brought up with the magnetics. And we'll still have to check the magnetics later on for gold. I'll probably do that with a cleanup sluice at a later point. You can see that, it's pulling it out. That's handy. Put that in our other pan. The other way you can do this to make sure that you give the gold every opportunity to fall out is shake it as you do it. And that helps keep the gold settled on the bottom while the magnetics are removed. God damn. Well, I am thankful that a lot of this is magnetic, because that would have taken me a real long period of time. That's every bit as hard as Reedy Creek tin. I didn't think there would be much. See, the difference is, though, I can reduce this with a magnet, so that makes it easier than Reedy Creek tin, because I actually don't have to deal with it. It's only a small portion of the pay dirt that I'm going to have to deal with. I think that's most of the magnetics now out of that first lot. So there you go. Just using a magnet, we got probably more than half of it removed. And I can actually see some big pieces of gold in there. Double check this just one more time. No, that's pretty much it. Just going to use it less water, Chris. Let's see how much gold we can reveal. We'll get a snuffer bottle. Oh, maybe not that one. Yeah. All right. Got our snuffer bottle here. We're going to reveal as much gold as we can and just suck it up because it'll get it out of the way. Look at how fine that is. Oh my God. That's like, those flakes are nice, but my God, look at that. Let me give you a better perspective. That's nuts. That's like maybe 2 teaspoons. That's really good. That's a really solid pay dirt. I wonder, oh man, I wish they were still operating. I'd love to ask them some questions, right? Because that's not all of it. We're maybe a sixth of the way there. Maybe a sixth of the way. Come on, Chris's tripod. There we go. That's crazy. I've got one creek in this area that will give you gold like that, but not really in that quantity. You will get that sort of at the end of a day of high banking, but not just in a pan like that. Right, let's get the fine gold. The fine gold's the problem. The rapid tap method works almost every time. See, I'm actually not as excited about the big flakes as I am about the little flakes, because the little flakes are not only where the challenge is. You can see it doesn't even want to tap up into a line. But the little flakes are where the challenge is for the pay dirt, but also it's where most of your weight is as well. People underestimate just how much gold weighs density-wise. And those little flakes in there, I don't know if you're going to be able to make them out, but there's just gold all over the bottom here. And little gold weighs heavy. That's the old adage, right? Little gold weighs really heavy. And that's because there's far more of it in the world than there is big chunky stuff. And if you know how to catch it, especially at $150 a gram, you'll be in for a pretty decent payday. All right, see how we go. Yeah, that's a lot easier to pan off. Obviously, that magnetic material is perhaps a little denser than this stuff. Yeah, I've got a howling dog out there. He's probably gone and got himself all nice and lost. Give me a minute. I'll go get him, because otherwise he's going to panic. We're back. There we go. Everyone, this is Frank. We're looking after it. We're babysitting this dog at the moment. He's actually really well trained, but he's also a colossal idiot sometimes. He gets lost outside. It's great. Well, it's not great for him. It's kind of a little bit funny. So anyway, he's with us for a week or two. We ignore Frank for now. I'll change the lighting setup, and instead of you watching the pan 100% of the time, maybe we can do it this way. I'll be able to see the chat. Ooh, and have a seat. So that magnetic stuff must have been more dense. This one must be running out of light. Oh joys. Look at this very professional YouTubing setup. I'm a professional YouTuber, guys. Let me go. That'll do. Reduction. That's what essentially too. That's what all your high banking and your sluicing and your classifying is. You're just trying to get rid of everything but your gold, right? So you use different methods to do it. Sometimes it's classifying, sometimes it's magnets, sometimes it's your sluice box or your pan or whatever it is. It's just a method of reduction. And as soon as you start thinking about how can I reduce this, the easiest way is when you start getting more efficient. But man, there's nothing efficient about this dirt. Like we've certainly increased our ability to process the dirt with the magnet, but you're still going to have to do this ultra fine, tedious panning at the end because, I mean, there's no way around it, right? Even I would consider that even if I used a cleanup sluice or something like that, I would run into other problems because of how fine this gold is and because of how fine the black sand is. The black sand is going to compact together in a cleanup sluice. And then that's going to cost you space in your riffles and so on and so forth. Actually, there's an older video that I put up where I processed cons from an active working gold mine in the area that had gold this fine. I would argue it was probably even a little finer than this. And it took me 2 days to do one bucket of their cons because of the space in the equipment I had. I've got hobbyist equipment, so the space, the volume that's available to hold gold really isn't there, and it filled up with really fine black sand like this and really fine gold. All right, so it's normally when I get to this point on Reedy Creek, I would just suck all that up and then do the final finish. But because of how much fine gold was in that first lot, I might not take it down a bit further. Yeah, Aaron, I actually watched that video this morning when Dan was over with Jason doing his thing, and he gave me a shout out with the caustic soda. They actually have to put water in the caustic soda. They're meant to it helps everything. But I get what he was saying. 300 degrees is well above the boiling point of water, so it will evaporate. There you go. So we got most of it the first run. And then on the second run, we've just got this real fine line of gold in there. But we got so much more concentrate to go through. Holy crap. And the problem I've got now is that all the little scratches in the bottom of the pan have little pieces of gold in them. I just tapped up probably another 100 flakes of gold in that. There is surfactant in this water too. I know a lot of people when I do live streams are like, you should put surfactant in there. There is the Australian equivalent of jet dry. Most of my audience is American, so I usually use the terminology that you would hear in the USA. But over here, it's just dishwashing liquid for your dishwasher liquid, should I say, that makes your plates and your bowls and whatnot go dry. I reckon we're just going to do like, we reduced it by about half, so let's just do that much. That seems like an excessive amount if I'm actually being honest. I don't reckon we'll get any big flakes because what we just processed in the last lot was all the stuff that had stratified to the bottom of the pan when I tried to do it all in one big hit. So I'm thinking to myself, if there's going to be anything in this, it'll be fine. It won't be big. Again, magnetics. Sometimes it also helps if you redump the magnetics back on top and then pick them up again just to make sure all the gold does fall out. Look at that. Look at that for a haircut. I can't believe, I wish we had magnetics like this here. I mean, the one added advantage of Reedy Creek's black sand is that, yeah, it's not magnetic, but it's mostly made up of like garnets, citrine, topaz, your sapphire group. Like, it's made up of rare gemstones, most of it, and then the rest of it's tin, which also holds value. So, you know, there are some advantages. There's such a color difference between the dirt too. Like, the magnetics are super black, and then the Non-magnetics are this lighter tan color. That's kind of cool. You can't tell that when it's all mixed together. But as soon as I start separating it out a little bit, I can see a lot of fine gold in this again. I need a bigger magnet. That's what I need. All right. Oh. There's just so much magnetic material. I'm not used to this. You can see how much it's reduced though. Like I put a fair amount in there, assuming that we'd lose half. I'd say we've got rid of more than half in that. I'm curious if there are other people out there who have this kind of material with gold in it. Has anyone ever just gone along with a magnet? Like seriously, like just gone along with a magnet and picked this stuff up? Because surely it would capture a whole bunch of gold. Like surely. Make for a cool video for someone to do that. Magnetic gold hunting. Right, that's most of the magnetics. Oh, there's just a ton of gold in that. All right. I don't think it's going to be as much as the last one, but there is still a lot of superfine gold. Yes, it's like a different problem, isn't it? Because I can't get rid of my light sand with a magnet. But if you're mining this, you have to get rid of it with a magnet, which means that you're going to need a completely different setup to what I have available to me. Cool though, really cool. I love the fact that right now I'm panning part of the USA in Australia. That's neat. That's really neat. What a world we live in. What a time to be alive. What if you had like so there's those rotating magnet tools that you can buy. I've got a couple of them here tucked away in the shed, but I don't really use them obviously because no magnetics. If you're in somewhere like Washington State and you're doing this kind of prospecting, and this is the kind of stuff you're getting, and there's so much of it that it really becomes impractical, right? So it's impractical to separate it with a small magnet, but it's also impractical, so you kind of have to shovel it into your high banker or whatever, and then you're collecting a butt ton of it. What if you had like a rotating magnet that as you one of those rotating magnet tools, but on a larger scale, so that you could go to one of those black sand patches and have it so that it would like process the dirt and then dump it into. Nah, that idea needs more time in my brain to mature before we release that to the public. I retract my earlier statement. Oh, we're getting some real nice flower gold. This is proper flower gold. I love it. That's awesome. Oh, man, I wish these guys are still in business. Such guilt about not doing this earlier. I just had so much on, and then I moved houses a couple of times, and it just got tucked away in a box, and it never saw the light of day. So if the people from Washington Beach mining end up seeing this, my sincere apologies, because you sent this to me out of your own generosity, and he didn't enact on it in a timely manner. So I do apologize for that. It's not how I like to operate, but circumstances dictate that I did. There's some good fine gold in that. So now we're going to get the hang of this. We're going to get the hang of this. All right, I'm not going to go down too much further than that because we've got nothing but really fine gold in there. I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll show you. Oh, flip around twice, Chris. There we go. Ooh, look at that. Once again, real nice, real cool. Like, we've got a bunch in here already, so that's awesome. How old was the dirt? The dirt was over... Well, I got sent it over 6 years ago, my dude. And it's just lived in boxes and all sorts of stuff for years and years and years and years. There's still gold all over the base of the pan too. Alright, I think we're going to do... I still got a bunch to process, but we're going to do one more on camera. We'll see how much gold we get. I think it'll be pretty safe this time to do a bit more because we know most of it's going to be magnetic. Watching the gold come down here is really cool. Alright, that's a hefty pan, is what I would call that. We shall stratify. So after this, we'll do a little bit of a Q&A too. So if you've got questions about whatever, prospecting, Vo-Gus prospecting, the shop, generalized questions about minerals and such, we shall answer some. You can get real-time feedback. Actually, we might do that while I pan this down. That's what we'll do. I'll set the camera up so I can see the comments. I need a bigger magnet. Well, I probably don't. I do right now. I'm actually going to go with the magnetics seem to be lighter than whatever the other heavy material is. And I say that only because when I shake the pan, they're coming to the surface. So based on density and stratification, the heavier things go to the bottom and the lighter things come to the top. So given that the magnetics seem to be coming to the top, maybe they're lighter. Although it is actually kind of mixed together, isn't it? Oh, no, they're actually under it. Oh, no, they're under it. Right. I take that back. They are denser. That's why it was hard. I was right originally. Ignore future Chris's statements. He's a moron. I could already feel this would be the equivalent of me watching someone pan Reedy Creek cons in the US, right? Like someone getting one of my pay dirts and then doing this to it. And I'd be there like, oh no, you just got to do this one simple thing, or this is actually the factoid about it. And I'm over here bumbling my way through magnetics for like the first time in my life and just trying to make it work. So enjoy the shit show. This is certainly not a polished, finished product video. Why is there so much? What have you guys got going on there that requires so much magnetic bullcrap? What is your Earth made of? I love it. I absolutely love this. This is like a proper challenge. It's good. It's good. It's harder removing the magnetics than it is panning the dirt down. So that's something. All right. I feel like we may have finally got down to the end of that magnetic lot. Frank, don't you go nowhere. Yeah, the dog's name's Frank. He's a special fluff ball. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's just a bit silly. Right, let's flip this around again. It's part of the missile defense program. That checks out. I would actually believe that, to be honest. Like, let's be real. As if it wouldn't be part of the missile defense program. Oh my god, lights. Why? Why do I do this to myself? There we go. That'll do. Okay, I can kind of see the comments now. So if you have questions, ask them, and I will try to answer them while I pan this down. Try being the optimal word there. Oh, it's so much fun, God. It doesn't want to, you shake it, and it doesn't want to go, it just doesn't want to go into a pile. I've set the lights up wrong, obviously, because why would I set them up correctly? No, that's not going to work because it's going to be on the wrong side. I've got this really nice light set up in my office, and I just didn't think to set it up because I thought, oh, it'll be sweet. We've had enough light before, but then I just didn't take into account that I was going to be dealing with the world's smallest gold and all of the magnetics in the known universe. One spoon at a time. Yeah, well, that's what we're doing. Like, that's about a spoonful, bro. So that's what I would call a spoonful. I normally do one spoonful at a time on Reedy Creek cons, but this has just been a different experience altogether, which is what I was hoping for. We're all learning, right? Like that's the great thing. Gold holds to the same principles, but the techniques that you use to get it to work have to change. So we know gold's heavy. We know that it tends to have certain characteristics under certain situations, and then sometimes you find out you just need a bigger magnet. I've definitely lost gold though, 100%. Don't know how much. Yeah, Mike, gold smaller than 200. Yep, I believe it. I have a mate who's got classifiers that go down to, I'm gonna get this wrong. I think it's 1,000 mesh. They're really fine. He works in the mining industry, and you should see what he classifies down things so small that you can't see them until it's in a pile, and he'll show you, and he's like, oh no, there's gold there, look, and he'll tap the top of the pan, and this line of ultrafine powder comes out of nowhere. It's amazing. STG, I'm playing with dirt from your home area. Aha! It's my dirt now. Was your dirt. We stole part of Washington. Yeah, 400 mesh. So that makes sense. It would be something like that. It'd be really, really small. Oh, someone sent a super chat through. Thank you, whoever that was. Thank you, random stranger. $5. That's definitely going to go towards the shop. We got a lot of fit out to do. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff with cabinets and whatnot at the moment, and it got expensive real quick. Like, it's going to be great. I can't wait to do it. But absolutely, if you've got the ability to buy some pay dirt and you want to have an experience like this of pure frustration but also enjoyment, consider jumping over to theoldmoldy.com.au, picking pick up a shirt, pick up some pay dirt, something like that. It's literally all going into the fit out of the shop, which is happening in the next 2 weeks, I believe. And we are going to be filming a lot of that and showing people as well. Man, I am absolutely gonna try this dirt in some cleanup sluices and that, but there's a whole setup that goes into it, and I don't have the ability to do that on the live stream right now. So whether or not I save this and run the rest of it on another live stream using a cleanup sluice just to see what happens, would you guys be up for that? Would you like to see something like that happen? Oh, I need to finish cleaning up the slobber bag in 1 gram. I had 3 hours of fun. Oh, bro, yeah, it'd be like that. I'm glad you're having fun with it. I'm trying to get, so right now, trying to get the light right. Right now, I've got gold spread out on this edge, and I'm trying to get the dirt to cover it so that the water doesn't have access to it, and we don't get that hydrophobic floating gold. Even though this water's got surfactant in it, I'm still getting floating gold. I've actually got pieces of floating gold all over the surface of the water. Oh, Matt Marlin, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate that. Oh, I just saw another one come up. Cody, thank you very much. Again, you're gonna see the shop get built out. I'm gonna film a lot of it because pretty excited about it. Look, if it works, that's awesome. If the shop doesn't work, wow, it was a great learning experience and it's going to be a lot of fun doing it. So either way, I think I win. But we're going to build the shop out and it should be cool. We're going to hold courses there. I've got plans for courses. We're setting up a tour operation business too to take people out, which people have been asking for years. We actually have a chunker. Look at that. We've got a chunker in there. Hell yeah. A couple of chunkies in there. Chunkies by the standard of what we're panning right now anyway. Oh, I don't want to take it down any further. It's starting to get real floaty. Look at that. Turn you around. Fine gold, but we got a couple more nice proper flakes in there. I wasn't expecting them. I didn't see them come out, so man, that's cool. That's real cool. So let's empty our snuffer bottle into that. Let's not pop the phone out of the holder. There we go. So we did 3 passes. We did about half the dirt is what we did. Why are you not standing up? There we go. So we did about half the dirt total. Maybe someone could give me a rough estimation of what they think gold-wise is in this, because you know, every time you do gold, just depending on the size and the density and all of that sort of crap, it really changes how much weight you get. Like, it doesn't look like much now. Wait till I tap it. It's when you tap it that the magic happens. We're going to have to do a lot of tapping too, because it's so fine it'll be stuck everywhere, which it is. So we've still got a little bit of black sand in that. I reckon this is a gram bag. I reckon it's 1 gram total. That's pretty good. That's cool. Super nice looking stuff. Real nice once it gets into a pile like that. And obviously a couple of nice bigger bits in there too. That's sweet. Man, we've got about that much to do again, which I'm not going to do today. I reckon I'm going to save this stuff for maybe the next live stream, and we'll run it through a cleanup sluice and see how it reacts, and we'll go through that. But I lost a heap. I know I lost heaps then. Like, I'm looking in the water right now, and on the right angle, I can actually see pieces of gold just floating there. Oh my God. Hopefully no one has epilepsy from those flashing lights. Yeah, there you go. So here we go. Let's set up a much nicer camera angle like that. Yeah. 6 years later. Yeah, bro, 6 years later. That took a long time to get to. So glad I've done it though. Real nice gold. If you guys have got questions, now is the time to ask them because I'll be on for a little bit more and then I have to move on with my day. I've got a full edit to do on my computer. One Star Buddy, Puppy, you made a live that's still live. Good work. Keep your fingers out of your pan. Nah, so bear with me when I say this. I've learned so much over the last decade about that. Interestingly, did you know that your skin changes its chemical makeup based upon how often and how long you submerge your hands? I don't get pruny fingers anymore unless there's soap and stuff in the water, which there is at the moment. So I've got them on that hand and not really on that hand. And it's really interesting. I will not get pruny fingers on the creek anymore. And I was reading into it. So there's a whole study. So when it's to do with this sort of stuff, you're actually pretty good if you spend enough time in the water. Your oils aren't going to make any difference in the pan. The problem that I've got right now is that this gold's so fine and the dirt's so fine and it doesn't want to settle under it. So your black sand actually protects your gold. A lot of people forget that or don't know about it, is that if you don't have enough black sand, you will lose gold because there isn't black sand in your sluice, or your pan in this case. And that's what I was really struggling with in that little bit of a cleanup there, because the gold's so small, it's sitting in the little cracks and crevices on the pan, then the water has access to it and you'll get that hydrophobic effect. We're going to scroll through some comments. Hi from 8,500 foot in Colorado. Are you at 8,500 foot right now, or is that just like where you could get to? Will the shop eat into your time on the creek? Absolutely it will. But it's actually, you know what? So part of the reason of doing the shop is that I have been full-time prospecting now for almost 10 years, and it's like there's more to everyone's life than what you see on YouTube, right? There's so much more to everyone's life. And you have to take into account that it's not physically possible to go prospecting every single day, just purely based on things like weather, things that are outside of your control. And then there's the physiological effect that it has on your body. You can't prospect every day because you do need days to recover and whatnot. And what you see on YouTube is a highly polished version of what actually happens on the creek. A video might be the end result of 3 or 4 days of hard 8-hour-a-day prospectings, where remote bush, really high temperatures or even really low temperatures. I know a lot of people are going to laugh about that, really low temperatures, but I promise you, a lot of expats from other countries come to Australia and don't realize how cold our winters get. So what I'm saying is, the shop is going to be a really good break. I want to deviate into doing that sort of stuff to do a couple of things. It'll give me an opportunity for different types of content, but it'll also give me an opportunity to have proper breaks, and it will give me as well as other people an opportunity to create jobs within this community. I'm already buying gold off multiple people every single week as prospectors in the local area, and they're supporting themselves on the sale of the gold. So it's things like that this shop's going to allow me to do, and I think it's going to be a real positive move for the community as a whole. Not just me getting the ability to have a little bit of a break away from nothing but prospecting. So yeah, there's that. You need a new high banker because I'm a banker. I like that. How many fatalities does Gadsy have? Oh, bro, thank you for the super chat. A few. I'd say a few. I'd say he's got a few left in the tank, but I think Shaz has taken up most of his time now. Yeah, JPH, that's it. I know that people are going to be really excited to come to the shop and stuff initially, but I'm also hoping to fill a gap in the market there where there isn't any prospecting shops in this area. So we want to be able to give people the opportunity, especially considering the gold price at the moment, to be able to get the right gear and all of that sort of stuff. More than that, the videos aren't going to change. Like, I'm still going to be publishing at least one main video a week and multiple reels and stuff over on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all of that sort of jazz, because it's what we do. We love this. Like, it's all about going out and finding really cool stuff out of the ground, right? That's the whole idea behind the Dirt Empire, was that the Dirt Empire branding was that there is so many hobbies that require you to be in the bush doing things in dirt, right? Like you four-wheel drive, motocross, you're hunting, you're mining, all of that centers around being out in nature and participating in what I would call that's the overarching banner of the Dirt Empire, and we want to show more of that. Jackus, yeah. So you need it's basically a pawn shop license to be able to buy gold off people legally. I'm reading comments, so if I get a real serious concentration phase, because I'm trying to sound out the words. Yeah, it was funny seeing you struggle with beach sand. Yeah, like the panning was easy. It was just the magnetic. Removing the magnetics was just horrible. Oh my God, so many comments. Oh, right. That's a good question. Yunki 3. So can you actually find enough to make a living? Is that on a normal prospectus permit or do you need more? 10 years ago, you needed more. 10 years ago, you would need a machine, a proper wash plant, all of that sort of stuff to do alluvial mining and make money. In Western Australia, parts of the Golden Triangle, you could theoretically use a detector to do it, particularly in WA. Golden Triangle, you would still need probably leases and some machinery and whatnot to make that economically viable in the long run. But if we just concentrate on our area, 10 years ago, you would absolutely need a lease, heavy machinery, proper wash plant, all of that sort of stuff to move the volume to get the amount of gold. I did a reel on all the other social media platforms where I explained what $1,000 of gold looks like today and what $1,000 of gold looked like back in 2016, I think it was. And so you would need 22.5 grams of gold back in 2016 to get 1,000 Australian dollars. And today that's like 8 grams. So the today it's possible to do it on a prospecting license. And I know I can say that with absolute certainty and confidence because I'm literally buying the gold off the people from the creek. So my business model is set up that I want to support local small scale prospectors, not miners, not mining companies, not those bigger scale things. The people like you, me, and 100 other people in chat who go out on the weekend and want to find a little bit of gold, they're the people I'm buying gold off. And those people will sell me anywhere between like 1 gram and a couple of ounces over a period of say like a weekend or maybe a month. And that's the beauty of the gold price being over 150 Australian dollars is that now a gram of gold is a day's minimum wage here in Australia, right? Like if you want to go out and have what I would consider to be a pretty cruisy day with just a pan, you could get a gram of gold. That's not overly difficult in the right geological areas. And it means that so many people now are doing just that because you can work at a service station for the same money and you got to deal with the public and a boss and all of that sort of stuff. So a lot of people have quit and they're moving into doing this. Don't get me wrong, it's hard work and you got to live in the right areas and there's a lot of considerations that you got to take into account. But 150 bucks a day in gold most days isn't impossible, at least not in our area. And a lot of people can live off that kind of money. Not everyone can, but a lot of people can. So yes, it is definitely possible. Yeah, Cody, I respect supporting the individual prospectors. So many people don't, it just, gold is a great way for people to start again. I've run into prospectors again and again and again who are coming off the back of bad relationship breakups, legal troubles, or law troubles, whatever it might be, and they've got no other avenue of doing it, and they've rebuilt their entire lives off gold in the ground. And what I discovered was that there were people who are willing to take advantage of those people in those situations time and again. I would meet people, the gold price was like $110 a gram, and there was a local guy buying gold off local prospectors for $80 a gram, and it's a rip-off. You know what the gold's worth, and you know what you could give them, but you've chosen your own benefit over this guy's hard work, and you haven't done anything. So I looked at that and I was like, I need to put a buffer in because the gold price fluctuates, and also gold rarely comes from the prospector 100% clean. And so I took $10 off 24 karat spot price. So if the gold price is $100, I would pay you 90. And it's the highest at least as far as I am aware, it's the highest you can get paid for gold in area. I don't XRF it. I don't need to test the purity because it goes into pay dirt, and I make sure it's local gold so that it goes out across the world in the same form that you see it on my channel. So we've got our 1 gram pay dirts that are made to be a challenge and whatnot, but it's still Reedy Creek gold, and it's still Reedy Creek tin and Reedy Creek gravels, but it's been put together as a challenge pay dirt. So you get the authentic experience. The prospector gets the benefit of that. They get the benefit of having done the hard work, and I get to make a little bit of money on top. So like I said, my margins are about 15%. About, like, some products go up to about 20% profit margin. And that's because we personally mine the stuff. Like, I'll be out there mining it myself, so the product itself doesn't cost me anything. And at the lower end, you're talking about 10%. And that's usually when we buy something in, like the gold. And it's a high risk venture, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but the least I could do is at least support the people who are going to help my business grow too. And that means paying them as much as I can. Yeah, JPH will be 5,000 ASD. It'll be more than that. I reckon that the gold price, my tentative prediction is going to be closer to 5,500 by the end of the year. And this is going to sound outrageous. There's a lot that goes into this, and there's a good chance it won't happen. But my long-term prediction would be somewhere between 7,000 and 10,000 Australian dollars per ounce in the next 3 to 5 years. Easy. Realistically speaking, from a government standpoint, should be around 10. Should be, but there's a whole lot of stuff that goes into that, right? Crew Jones, you don't need 30% for a profit. Anyone who thinks that you need to take 30% like that isn't actually doing their maths of business very well, right? Because you can make a high value product. Like, I've seen people do this time and time again. People make a product and they try to make as much money off that one individual product as possible, right? And it just doesn't work. It's like there's prime examples are like the the hot dog from was it Costco or IKEA, one of those big ones. I can't remember the company now. It's gonna make my point sound stupid, but there's one of those big companies that sell hot dogs, and they're like $1.50, and then there's like a Coke on top of it and whatnot, and they made a hot dog plant just to keep the price of that hot dog the same price since like the 1970s. IKEA. Thank you, Trev. There we go. So, but the reason for that is simple, right? It's a staple. You've got a product that you're not making any money on there from, but in the broader picture, that's the thing that's going to bring people into your business. It's going to build a relationship. It's going to build trust. It's going to build all those things. It's like, that was, for me personally, that's my slobber bags. I've given away slobber bags that have had 2 grams of gold in them. That's 300 Australian dollars, and I sold it for $27. I didn't know there was 2 grams in there because it's unsearched pay dirt, right? But that person on the other end is like, bonanza, that's awesome. I just made $300 off a $30 purchase. And that means that person is then more likely to come back to my business when they want to buy pay dirt, right? So they might be like, I'm going to buy a few more slobber bags, and maybe they get a 0.1 in one, and maybe they get a 0.05 in another, and maybe they get a 0.15 in the next. And they're like, well, it wasn't 2 grams, but hey, it was really good fun, and that was awesome, right? And so we have the ability to then build a working relationship. Maybe they'll try another product. And by doing that, I also then get to the opportunity to work with people like Gadsy, like Mick, like Kyle, who are all doing their own things and bring those parts together like this. Like, we can now add things like tourmaline that's mined locally to our pay dirts because I'm able to network with the right people because people are interested in buying the products. And so it's not just me that benefits from it, it's everyone. And a 30% profit's ridiculous when you think about the fact that, I could make 30% off one sale once, or I could make 15% off 20 sales over the next 3 years from the same person, right? That's the logic we're going with, because we want people to have a really good experience. And obviously it's a business. I want to make money. So I want that customer to be so satisfied with the product that they want to try some of the other ones. That's where I'm at. 30% is going to kill that relationship building. And it's going to be done for a couple of bucks. It's not worth it. It's not worth it in the long run. That tourmaline is amazing. Yeah, Matt, I'll show you where it is. You don't work with Gadsy. Yes, I do. Have you ever been around Gadsy? You got to feed him every 30 minutes. It's hard work. Can you do a road trip to East Gippsland? Oh, man, that means I've got to go over that big windy road, though. Oh, my God. Have you been over that? Oh, I can't remember the Omeo Highway. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. But yeah, I'd love to, actually. There's a couple of creeks out there that I want to check out. Yeah. All right. Well, with all of that being said, Howard asks, no custom pay dirts, bro. I actually get requests for custom pay dirts all the time. I don't have time. I actually don't have time. The products that we've developed, we continuously redevelop based on feedback, so that if someone leaves us a review and it's like a 3-star review instead of a 5, and we read it and we see why and we can make that adjustment, we make those adjustments. And so we feel that the products that we got out right now are the end result of a lot of collaborations with people, and we don't want to really change up those recipes for a one-off, because it means that I have to then I don't have time as it is. Like, I'm really pressed with what I'm doing to get everything done. So I don't have time to take away from like the production line of pay dirt to then just make one individual one and make sure that goes out to that person, because there's a really big time sink in doing that, because it all has to be monitored so that one pay dirt goes to that one person. So no, at the moment we're not doing custom pay dirts. We're just going to stick with the method that we've got. When I open the shop, maybe. That just depends. Do you sell tin? Yeah, in my pay dirts, man. Each of my pay dirts comes with about 200. Well, each of my 1 grammers and my 2 grammers will come with a minimum of about 200 to 250 grams of cassiterite. So, yeah. How many dollars for Frank? Frank, how much are you worth? $50? Nah, that's a lie. 55. All right. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope I gave you some clarity around the pay dirt. It was a bit of a rant there, but like, honestly, I'd rather be upfront and honest with every single person who's buying something from me, so you know where you stand and you know what you're going to get. And that's why I wanted to go on that rant. And yeah, the shop will be opening soon. You'll see more posts about that on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of the platforms. And we're going to have stock that's been buying by me, Gadsy, Kyle, people from the Northeast. We're going to have all our pay dirt there. We're going to have gear there. So it should be really cool. All right. Enjoy your afternoon, evening, wherever it is. Oh my God, I can do this. I'm going to say that again. We're going to pretend like this is a video. I hope you have a most enjoyable evening or afternoon wherever you are in the world. Please give your dog a big scratch behind the ears for me. Check out the links in the description below. And I will see you on the next one. Hopefully with a cleanup sluice doing the same pay dirt. Bye.